Hey y'all, how's it going? WallysOG here, and today I'm coming back with a few more videos. Well, I mean not like today in general, but today I am recording them. This one being the first one. If I'm remembering correctly, the date around this race was like beginning of March, when obviously when Laguna Seca was in rotation. I believe I started 5th or 6th it was, and people in front of me got off the line a bit badly, so we inherited a few positions. Laguna Seca is my favorite track in the entirety of the world, not only because it's technically my local track, or it would have been my local track if I had continued to live where I used to live, but there's like 3 racetracks now that are closer to me, technically where I'm at, but that's fine. I'm actually coming back here, not racing. I'm not an actual real-life racing driver. I don't think I can handle. But I am going as a spectator. Coming up here at the end of next month. I still actually need to buy the tickets, but IMSA is coming here, which, yeah, that's great. Either way, we're going to look at some obvious things happening in front of us here, and this guy gets, I think actually he had a slowdown penalty. He spun that guy and he was off track, and I think he got a slowdown, so he slowed down and just kind of did that and kept it going this way. But this isn't like a recent race, obviously. That's why I wanted to specify when this actually happened before, or at least while I'm going over it and whatnot, because a lot of things have happened on iRacing since technically this race has occurred. I've gotten my first technically like disciplinary action against me, which I have had conversation now afterwards, and it was explained to me why the disciplinary action was taken, and then it was revoked after further review technically. So we're chilling there, and then yeah, I'm doing some different things here when it comes to the channel, I guess, and to racing. I'm gonna try and do less whatchamacallit. I'm gonna try and do less pit lane starts, unless it's like end of the week kind of deal, and just and keep it up with actually like racing from the grid the way that you're supposed to and whatnot. Because I feel like obviously it needs to happen a bit more, quite a bit more. But yeah. Sorry, I'm getting distracted a little bit because my replay that I'm watching right now is a bit laggy for some reason, even though there's like nothing else going on the computer other than me recording the commentary, basically. But either way, you know, we're gonna get back into this because now we're firmly ahead, obviously, and that's, I mean, sometimes it's okay. Like, I guess it could be entertaining at times if like everything was close, but not everything is close, obviously. So I'm doing some different camera works and whatnot, as you can tell, and we're going from there. But yeah. Back to what I was saying before, because I honestly get distracted super easy. Laguna Seca being my favorite track. I'm going there soon, but I was actually planning on taking like a week off of work and just no-lifing this week, basically, of racing while it was at Laguna Seca, and it didn't pan out, obviously. I actually didn't even get that many races, and I only got maybe like 4 or 5 races in before it went into the for fun season. And then the races were like 5 laps or 6 laps or whatever they were. Those races were still fun, but nowhere near as like competitive or anything like that as these races were. But yeah, was still super fun and awesome. And we're going from there. But I didn't actually. I technically was still playing during the entirety of season 1, like from start to finish. But I didn't take it as seriously isn't the right word necessarily, I guess, because I was doing the races and everything, but my goals more or less were focused on getting used to the game, trying out new cars, making sure I had tracks, and doing that kind of stuff. And I feel like I'm in a pretty comfortable area now where there's a few, you know, TCs that I'm super comfortable with doing. I'm really comfortable with Miata. It's Miata. It's really fun. Obviously, if you've played this game or anything like that, you would understand what I'm talking about. Fix Ferrari is also pretty fun. Fix Porsche is pretty fun. If I can handle the car technically, F4 super fun too. That one just came out. But I wasn't actually you know taking like the racing seasons super seriously. And I went back and I looked, and I was looking at like my positions overall and whatnot, and you know, like I guess in like comparison to the world, because I do that a lot. I still obviously do that to this day. But the games that I'm playing, if that's available, I like to see, because A, I'm a competitive person, and B, I'm a curious competitive person. So, in my division, I think, which has like 1,000 people in it, I'm like top 50. I think, or at least I finished top 50 at If I'm remembering correctly, when I went back and looked for season 1, right now I'm like 80th. But it's week 1 of season 2, so yeah, it's whatever. But I'm gonna be doing it a bit more, and I have some plans on some stuff that I want to do. I'm gonna go over some things maybe in the next couple videos, or something like that, on what I want to start doing, or maybe the update videos will just be the videos themselves, considering if I go back on every single one of my channels and I do an update video again, I might actually do something dumb. Not actually, but yes, I've done a lot of like, I'm coming back to YouTube, or I'm changing my channel videos a lot. But anyway, getting off topic again. We need to stay focused here, because actually the super fun stuff is coming up soon. And by super fun stuff, I mean why I'm actually choosing to do this video. And the reason, again, why I wanted to call out the fact that this was a month ago is because this is one of the first races that I had here. Yes, my favorite track and everything, but still a bit rusty after not playing for a little while. And also, you know, maybe just, I'm pretty sure I was just like finishing up GT Sport a bit, so I was also on the Logitech wheel, but it's all just excuses, realistically, is what I'm saying. But the end result of what's happening here, because now we're just about to come up to the halfway mark of the video that I have right now. But then again, there's some bonus footage afterwards. You might have noticed that the Red Bull car that is now firmly behind us in second place was not there just a couple laps ago. He was actually back in fourth, and he's made his way up. He was a super fast driver. I was like 2 seconds, like 1 or 2 seconds actually, off of my like ending resulting pace when I did a few more races after this, and I'm gonna be recording those. And sorry, I do win in a few of them, so I really wanted to drive this point home that I was like super slow in these races. Plus I made a lot of mistakes. So coupled with the fact that I was like 1 second to 2 seconds slower than what my like end of the week pace was. Guy behind me also was definitely faster than I was, and I kept making mistakes. So as we get into it, because I'm not the greatest of drivers, I've come to, I guess, begrudgingly realize, well, it's not even a realization, like I know I'm not great, because obviously 1 second off of the pace in general, or 2 seconds off the pace in general, is not a good thing. And normally to fastest times in the world, I try to go within a second. But obviously homie behind me is very skilled and is catching up pretty quickly. But pressure also, I let pressure get to me a lot, and that's something that I think a lot of people would understand. And depending on how you deal with it is well, the way that things go. And you'll see here pretty soon. Well, I guess, well, I mean, since I'm making all the mistakes, yeah, I am definitely succumbing to a lot of the pressure. I don't necessarily lose out here, like, purposefully or anything. And as far as I was aware, everything was very clean up to this point. It wasn't until a certain moment when it wasn't so clean anymore, but, you know, it happens. Racing's racing, but we live and we move on to race another day. It's kind of hard to do, I guess, necessarily like a lap guide if I'm not in the car. It's kind of hard to see the braking points, so I won't really necessarily do a lap guide here. It's not really a thing. I'd rather be in the car, but yeah, pressure is something that, you know, it's hard. Like until you're under it, you really don't know, you know, what to do. And sometimes you think maybe taking a more defensive line is going to benefit you more, even though it's like halfway through the race, or in some cases, you know, you take the racing line when you should be defending. You know, it's one of those things. Apparently in Tsukuba this week, or this last week, those videos are going to be coming out sometime this week. I was like 8/10 off of the overall like world fastest pace, so I was like super happy with that one. But people were saying that I'm like super slow in the corners, or getting out of the corners or something like that, so whatever. But either way, apparently I'm super slow in corners, and that was very obviously apparent here, because I would get caught up pretty quickly, and it was mostly to do with that. I believe that's turn 10 or 11, I can't remember, honestly. I'm having a brain fart, but that turn would catch me out, and then the dip before, basically leading up to the corkscrew, I would also kind of lose out a bit there, because there was times where I was either shifting up or shifting down when I didn't need to be, and I just needed to like keep it in third, just let off the gas a little bit and just kind of coast into it, and then fully accelerate out. But yeah, really drilling home the fact that you should practice a track like for probably a solid hour before really taking races seriously. I think that honestly it's a massive benefit. And some people could say that's too long or whatever, but honestly, it's just muscle memory is such a big thing here. If I'm actually doing races throughout the week, and I noticed this in Gran Turismo when I was like really doing Gran Turismo. Very quick story time, because the thing's about to happen. There was a point where I wasn't working, and basically the only thing I had to do was I had to wake up and walk the dog and make sure I didn't like let the dog or the cat die. That was essentially like my entire responsibility until I started working again, and pretty much that whole time I was playing Gran Turismo. You get very consistent, and I noticed that after a couple days I can be very consistent. This is one of those games where I can be super consistent, but this was at the beginning and I wasn't consistent. And then shit like this happens. So obviously he hit me. I went over the sausage curb and just kept spinning. It's my own fault. I didn't actually like slow down enough. And then basically I went from first to 8th with 2 laps to go. Yeah, this was 2 laps to go. So I get spun. I am really not a fan of people sometimes in this game, so I'm definitely vocal, especially like on the track. I will let you know when I think you did me wrong, and in that case I was definitely letting him know. He said that one was my fault, and like as I'm looking back at it, I could equally say, yeah, probably me, just because I had a really poor exit out of the turn before it. But it's one of those things where like you need to compensate also. It's not only my responsibility, it is also your responsibility. And no, that is not mistakes, because I've been in his position before too. I've had to slam on the brakes to avoid a collision. You gotta do it. If you can't cleanly make the pass, it's just you don't do it. So At the time, yeah, I was mad at him. Not mad at him anymore. That's just not really a thing. But he does get his comeuppance. That's technically what the bonus footage is afterwards. But I'll just show it super quick at the end, because the video is actually kind of longer than what I normally would do anyway. Well, it seems that way, but actually it's really not. But yeah, I mean, we're about to come up on him right now. That noise you heard in the background was actually him hitting the wall. He did that nice little spin there and then went head on into the pit lane wall. He basically just dropped it. He went into the gravel and spun out. Did the same thing that I did, technically, but he just did it to himself without any assistance. So we end up now, since he spun, we inherited 6th, I think. Yeah. So now we're in 6th, and this is the last lap. Group driving or pack driving too is something that I highly recommend if you can get practice in, especially like in the pre-race lobbies. Like, I go in a half an hour before, if I can. And I'm sitting there driving the whole thing. I basically do a simulation race, just so I know to like tire deg and whatnot. I can expect to know when my lap times are gonna start dropping. But also, you know, you have such a wide range of driving that you have to stay on your toes, especially into the pre-game lobby or the practice lobbies, you know, shit like that. It's really nice, super beneficial actually. I very much enjoy going in sometimes, and sometimes the banter is pretty fun too. I also learned how to drive Formula V just because I went into the practice lobby, or practice lobby. So, you know, it's beneficial, super beneficial. But as we come up here, just before the last turn, 3 here has a bit of a really poor run out, and I don't. And just at the line, we beat him to take P5. Just barely. This video kind of went off everywhere, but I did get sort of a main point across. And the next one will be a little bit better, I would hope. So here's that bonus footage really quick of homie been in it. And I will see y'all in the next one. Boy!